All right, today we're going to tackle something pretty fascinating. What happens when the ancient sacred tradition of memorizing the Quran meets the everyday technology you've got in your pocket? As we're about to see, this connection is changing pretty much everything for millions of learners around the world.
Which, brings up a really big question. Can an app on your phone actually help with something so sacred, so personal? That sounds a little strange, right? Well, let's dig in and find out.
So, no big surprise here. The biggest change is happening right where you'd expect it, in our pockets. There's this wave of mobile apps popping up, all designed to make this ancient practice way more accessible than ever before.
But the real question is, do any of these things actually work? To get an answer, researchers dug into at least a dozen of the most popular Quran apps out there to figure out what features are genuinely making a difference for learners. Okay, so when they looked at these apps, they found they basically fall into two camps. On one side, you've got the gamified apps. They use points, leaderboards, progress bars, all that stuff. And the studies show this really works. It keeps people motivated and engaged. On the other side, you have apps that use voice technology to listen to you and correct your recitation. And, well, the research says this style is just less effective right now. The tech isn't quite good enough yet to be reliable.
And it's not just one or two apps. The digital toolbox for this is actually pretty diverse. You've got specialized apps like Hifz and Tikrar that are built from the ground up for memorization. Then there are others like Learn Quran Tajwid that focus specifically on getting the pronunciation just right. And get this, people are even adapting everyday tools like Miro and Quizlet to help them study. Super creative.
But again, what's the human impact? Does it feel like it's working? Well, a study on that Tikrar app found something really interesting. Users said, yeah, it was helpful, but more than that, it actually motivated them. It made them want to keep going. And that combo, helpful and motivational, that's the secret sauce.
Memorizing something is really only the first step. The real challenge is making it stick. And in this tradition, that's called muraja'a. It's this process of constant revision and repetition. And this, right here, is where tech can be a total game changer, because it lets you practice anytime, anywhere, right on your phone.
Okay, but it's not all about just one person learning on their own. Technology is also becoming the glue that connects entire communities of students and teachers. It's really changing how Quranic education happens on a larger scale.
And this whole shift got a massive push forward during the pandemic for obvious reasons. Almost overnight, traditional study circles couldn't meet in person anymore. So everyday tools like Zoom and Google Meet suddenly became these essential lifelines for Quranic schools all over the world.
But look, it wasn't a perfect transition, not by a long shot. Institutions ran into all the problems you'd expect. These platforms weren't really built for this kind of teaching. They were expensive, you had internet issues, and of course, the endless battle against digital distractions. We've all been there.
So what do you do? Well, in response to all those headaches, we're seeing a really smart adaptation. A lot of these institutions are now building their own custom information systems. Think of it as software designed specifically to do what Zoom can't, like closely tracking a student's memorization progress and giving really structured feedback, all from a distance.
Now let's zoom out a bit, because tech isn't just about helping people memorize stuff. It's also opening up new ways to access the text and even gain new insights. It's really breaking down barriers and helping scholars see the Quran in a whole new light.
And here's a really powerful example of that: accessibility. For people who are visually impaired, Braille technology has been adapted to create these amazing tactile versions of the Quran. This gives them a direct, personal connection to the text that was, incredibly hard to get before.
But it's not a perfect solution just yet. There are still some pretty big hurdles. For one, these Braille Qurans are really expensive to make and hard to get to people. Plus, there are technological gaps. Sometimes the Braille can't capture all the little pronunciation marks, those tiny symbols that are so crucial for proper recitation.
Okay, so let's shift gears from individual learning to preserving history. Technology is playing a huge role here too. There are these major projects happening right now to digitize ancient, super fragile Quranic manuscripts. The goal is to preserve them forever and make them available to scholars anywhere in the world. And once these texts are digitized, a whole new world of scholarship opens up. You have computational tools with names like QSoft and Quran Code that can analyze the text for really complex numerical and symmetrical patterns. It's this incredible, data-driven approach that can sit alongside traditional interpretation, or tafsir. So, where is all of this headed? Let's take a peek at the future.
We're talking about some cutting-edge tech that's being developed as we speak, and it could totally redefine what Quranic learning looks like.
Yeah, forget just tapping on an app on your phone. Researchers are building intelligent physical devices. Imagine having a little companion that can literally listen to you recite and give you real-time, accurate feedback on your pronunciation. Wild, right?
So how does this thing even work? Basically, you'd recite a verse into the device. It might be built on something simple like a Raspberry Pi. Then, AI-powered speech recognition analyzes how you said it and gives you instant feedback. But here's the really clever part. It automatically updates a spaced repetition schedule for you. That's a scientifically proven memory technique, so the device makes sure you practice the parts you're weak on at the exact right time to lock it into your memory.
And if you think that's ambitious, the vision gets even bigger. The next frontier could be integrating these kinds of tools with neuroscience. Researchers are actually looking into whether they can use our own brain rhythms to make the learning process even faster and more effective.
So the main takeaway from the research community is pretty clear. They don't see artificial intelligence as just some fun gimmick. They see it as a powerful tool that has the real potential to fundamentally enhance how the Quran is memorized and taught for generations.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really important question to chew on. As all this technology gets smarter, more personal, more integrated into our lives, how do we make sure we preserve the human soul of it all? The spiritual intention, the connection between teacher and student, the heart of this sacred tradition? That's definitely something to think about.